And we're joined now by the Superintendent Joey Hofmiester, who is also the chair of the OETA Board of Directors. And as you saw that piece, you're obviously very pleased with the enthusiasm of your teachers. But in terms of retention and keeping them here, are we making progress? Is that still a challenge?
It is still a challenge. There is a little bit of progress, but this is not going to turn around overnight. Obviously, we want more of our young people to go into their colleges of education, in the regional universities, in our state universities, and then stay in Oklahoma. And that's going to take time. But we are seeing more people staying, and that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. Now, the Board of Education met yesterday. They accredited Epic Charter Schools for another year, which means they're going to receive state funding. You support that, and what was the thinking behind that decision?
Well, there's no choice on that. It's not a question of support. It's a question of following the law, and that was also done with the consultation of those who are part of that investigative body at OSBI. We needed to be certain that each step we take in our regular course of business is still appropriate in that matter.
Now, you supported the governor's call for an audit, 3-year audit of Epic Charter Schools, which they will pay for, which I found interesting.
Yes.
Is it time for charter schools to be more regulated, and do you want the power in your office to oversee that?
Well, it's definitely time for increased accountability and greater transparency. That will require changes in law. I mean, frankly, I think that when we think about the statewide virtual charter school board, it's a separate entity, a separate state agency that regulates and oversees and actually sponsors virtual charter schools. Last legislative session, our office and department asked for that to be put under the State Department of Education. And then also it is something that is part of other things that we think need to happen. Our state agency does not have full subpoena power like 51 other state agencies in Oklahoma, and it is very common to have subpoena power in the state departments of education across the country.
Getting back to all of the schools, now for 2 years in a row, teachers have received a raise. Does that create, in your mind, pressure on them to produce, to show better results, and is that necessarily a bad thing?
Well, I think we always need to step up. When we have greater investment, that calls for greater accountability and outcomes. But we also need to be very patient, because that involves training those new teachers, those who need to understand how to read our academic standards, which means what are we going to teach and when are we going to teach it, and how thoroughly do we teach. This is going to require training, and we are going to continue to provide that at the state level, and we know districts are as well.
Joey Hofmeister, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much, Rich. I appreciate being here.